Case, what the hell are you doing? We got a show in like 2 minutes.
What am I doing, Chinch? Just got our first sponsor, brother. I can't believe it. RevTown Jeans just sent me these unbelievable jeans, bro. Most comfortable jeans I've ever put on. They almost feel like sweatpants. I was doing squats just to make sure I was correct in my thinking.
Yeah, if you guys are just listening to this, Sean was basically just bouncing around his room, but he's wearing jeans, which, by the way, my last name's Cencimino, Sean. I'll take the part of how they're made because they're Italian milled denim. What that means is they're infused with a trademark athletic stretch yarn, so you get premium jeans with an amazing fit and a comfort of your favorite sweatpants, like Sean was just doing. If you go to our YouTube page, you'll see it. RevTown cuts out the middleman. They offer them directly to the consumer for a ridiculous price, Sean.
Dude, I tell you what, Chinch, you got to get a pair of these, bro. The most comfortable jeans you will ever put on, no doubt about it. Go to RevTownUSA.com and order yourself some jeans, Chinch, because you're going to absolutely love them.
Let's do it.
Let's get this party started, Chinch. We got a show to do, brother.
Yeah.
Roll the animation. Back in the mayor's office one more time, Chance. We're rolling, baby. That's what I'm talking about.
Guests keep getting bigger and bigger. Guests keep getting bigger and bigger.
Exactly, man. Oh, man. This one today, man, is one of my favorites. A really good friend of mine. And I want to go down. I want to give him his proper introduction because I tell you what, I've played with a lot of great hitters in my day. This guy could wake up right now at the age of 48, 49 years old, roll out of dead of winter in December and hit you double left center. I promise you that. I know he could. I know he doesn't think he could, but I know he could. 13-year big league career, played for the Cardinals, Reds, Tigers, and Nats. 4 years we played together in Cincinnati, so I witnessed it firsthand. Two-time All-Star, 292 career batting average. He hit 300 or better all 4 years he was with me in Cincinnati. I didn't know this, though. Career high 29 home runs in 2003 with the Tigers and 7 triples, which I thought was a misprint, but turns out it's not. He really did have 7 triples. 2007 NL Comeback Player of the Year. A year he hit 330. Pretty unbelievable. And in 2007, in that year, he hit 320, 38 doubles, and 74 ribbies. A doubles machine. One of my favorite teammates of all time. I want to bring in my man, the Meat Hook, the D-Train, Dmitri Young. What's up, D? How you doing, brother?
Oh, man, I absolutely love that intro, except for one thing. You said 48, 49. I'm still 47.
Oh, 47, you're right. Oh, man. Well, I was trying to make you older than me, bro, because I'm 47. Your birthday's in October, so, you're a little older than me. I'm July, so you got me. I thought maybe, it's only a couple months,
Hey, yeah, but that's like, no. Hey, actually, it's more like, wait a minute, you're 74, right?
Yeah, 74, bro, July.
I'm October 73, so my birthday's coming up. I will be 48, but I'm not 48. I'm not like the girls in high school that up their age, like, no, I'm 18 in 3 months. It's like, no. I'm savoring this 47. Because once I turn 48, that's a countdown to 50. Mine is, 1 year, 364 days. That's going to happen real soon.
It's so true, bro. It's so true. D, I tell you what, it's crazy. I meant to grab it. I'm going to go see if I can get it while I'm on here. But, Chinch, Demetrio and I are both big card collectors. But so when you first get your first, like when you're a card collector, when you're younger, you get the prospect cards. You're like, oh, there's 4 guys on the cards. Yeah. There's 3 guys on the cards. Cal Ripken Jr. He's got 2 other bums on there. But you're like, oh, it's Cal Ripken Jr. You're like, it's unbelievable. Then you go through, different guys. And I remember like Jose Canseco and Eric Plunk. You're like, who's Eric Plunk? Turned out he was good too. But, so when I got my first prospect card, there was 3 guys. There was 2 other guys on there. Jim Bonici or Bonacy. He was with the Mariners. And Dmitri Young.
No
was
way.
On my first. Oh, yeah. So it was me, Demetrio, and Jim Bonacy, I think, were on this card.
Jim Benici is the name.
There you
Benici.
go.
Train, you remember
Yeah.
that card?
Yeah, you were in the Indians uniform. I was in the Cardinals uniform, and
Wow.
Benici was in Mariners uniform.
That's right, dude. And I remember when I got traded to the Reds, and you did too. You got traded to the Reds in '98 too, right?
Right after the '97 season, I got traded for Jeff Brantley.
Wow.
Jeff Brantley, right after the '97 season. I got traded 14 hours before spring training was over, before opening day in '98, and came over there. And I remember one of the first things I wanted to do when I saw you was, can you sign my card? You know?
Well, remember we met in when I got sent down in '97 to AAA. We were in Buffalo when I was with the Cardinals, and
That's right.
and then met you there, and then we were on the same fall league team together until I jacked up my thumb, and then I wound up getting traded to the Reds, and so did you. Oh, there
That's
it
right.
is.
There it is, baby. Look at that. 2 young bucks right there.
How about that?
Oh my God.
Wow. Holy
So
cow.
So great, man. So great. Train, I want to bring it back a little bit, man. Well, right now, I just, you were, first off, I just saw you this past weekend. We were up in Cincinnati for the, Marty Brennaman was going in the Reds Hall of Fame. They had the Legends softball game, which they considered us legends coming back. I think they were really talking about Tony Perez and those guys and Johnny and them. But we had a wonderful time seeing you, man, and seeing Pokey and David Weathers and just so many guys that we played with. What was that like for you, kind of seeing everybody this past weekend in Cincinnati?
I had the same excitement that you did, because, when life goes on and we're doing what we're doing, it's like you don't realize how much time elapses between the last time we seen each other. And it's like the last time I saw you was when you got inducted into the Reds Hall of Fame. I did not realize that was that amount of time that's gone by.
Yeah.
Obviously happy to see you, then see Pokey, Danny Graves, like the guys that we played with and had all those great memories. Like now we talk about the '99 Reds team, like, oh my God. And we'll talk about that. We would have been wearing rings right now.
Dude, seriously. Can you tell me about that, bro? Like 2021. What do you still think back to that team to this day, and what do you think?
Oh my God, that was a team right there. Everybody pulled for each other. Everybody hung out together too. That was a weird thing. A lot of time you have cliques and stuff going on, but when you show up at the same bar, 23 out of 25 guys at the same bar, I mean, that's a special team right there. And I mean, we can credit guys like Barry Larkin, guys like Greg Vaughn, who really stepped up that year. He came over to the Reds and changed up a lot of stuff, the facial hair, the earrings. And then we just had some straight up swag, man. We did some stuff that we actually reinvented the wheel on some of the things, like the walk-off hop at home plate. Wasn't that us? That was
the
us,
bounce.
yes.
99 Reds, bro.
Yes.
I was telling Gravy the other day. I told Gravy, I said, I was watching the college women's World Series, and they're bouncing, and I was like, that's us. That's a 99 Reds started the bounce worldwide of baseball teams, because that was the kind of team that we had back then, man. It was just so freaking awesome.
Who's the hero going to be? Is it going to be you? Is it going to be you?
Yeah.
Who's it going to be? And I mean, somebody always stepped up.
Yeah.
When we had Go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was saying when we had Danny on the other day, I told him the same story, that when I was in college at Columbia in New York City, which is far away back then when you're a kid from Cincinnati, whatever, we used to dye our hair before every weekend series because you guys were doing that. And like everybody was like, these Reds are the coolest team. They're like us. They're like kids. Because, back in the day in the 80s, it was like, maybe some guy had his stirrups up. And that would be like somebody that's crazy on the field. You guys were full swagger the entire time. And everybody fell in love with that team. And every one of you guys that has come on has said the same thing about how good you were and how much of a shot you guys had back then.
Yeah, and I know Casey can attest to this. It started in spring training. Greg Vaughn coming in there with that dip in his mouth. Oh, man, hey, I don't care about you. It's playing for me. And wound up having facial hair. And he was like, hey, and he taught us some stuff. I remember one time he made it out. He came back in, and you know, like little kids, you give like a high five, like, man, get your hands off me. I ain't doing anything. And it was like I was taken back at first, but then I was like, but that's the way you got to play. I ain't happy about a doggone fly out. And you see that now with kids running back to the dugout after a strikeout, and the kids giving the fake high five. Hey, good job up there. Way to not help the team. That's awesome. But back to Greg Vaughn, like he just like a lot of us were young on that team. Casey was young, I was young, Pokey Reese was young, Aaron Boone was young. You know, Scott Williamson was a rookie. Danny Graves was young. Scott Sullivan, a lot of those guys that. And we played against each other and stuff, but once we got together and then had the right mixture with the veteran, with the captain Barry Larkin, we had Eddie Taubensee getting some PT in, and it was just like a perfect storm. And we had Pete Harnish. Golly, was he funny? Oh my!
Dude, can you remember a good Pete Harnish story, bro? You got to.
It wasn't so much story; it's just a lot of stuff that just comes out of his mouth. Always talking about a balloon knot.
That's right. The balloon knot.
Oh my God. People can Google that. We don't have to explain it. People can Google it.
Oh my God, man! So Harnish was always naked. Like for some reason, he had like the worst body on the team, but he was like naked
Peter
all the time. Yeah, and I remember
Peter Griffin.
Yeah. I remember the one time when he freaking got all soaped up at spring training.
Oh yeah.
Full lather, and the team was going on the road, and Harnish comes out full soaped up. He looks like a Perk Plus commercial or something. Freaking just soap everywhere. Irish Spring. It's like so much soap, and he goes out there with a helmet on and a bat, and goes onto the team bus with like Jim Bowden, the GM, and I believe John Allen, the president, in the front seat.
Yeah.
He walks onto the bus like, "Good luck today, gentlemen. Just keep swinging for the fences." Like, oh my God, this guy is nuts.
But you know what? Well, obviously that couldn't happen today, but I mean that kept the whole locker room loose. And then you had Denny Nagel came over that year too. Oh my God, that was the reason why my hair was blonde.
Was it?
Yeah, I was hanging out with him and Scott Winchester.
What happened?
Well, we were out at the quay, and then we came back in and started talking about hair dye. I was like, yeah, I'll dye my hair. And yeah, next thing you know, I was blonde, and actually it was orange because I didn't leave it in long enough.
And D, you had the orange goatee too. When you came the next day, everyone's like, Demetrio, what happened? Did you get in a fight last night or something? Did somebody? And all of a sudden it was like Dmitri showed up with this hair that was orange, and the goatee was orange too. And we were just like, we were having a field day with him. Like, oh, bro, what's going on with that goatee you got going on?
Yeah, and of course they took a picture of it. And it was in USA Today, and the excuse that I made was people kept calling me Greg Vaughn. Yeah, that was kind of weak though, but that definitely separated me from everybody else. But god dang, I only hit like 150 something with that orange hair.
I know. I remember you started scuffling, and next thing you know, the one day you came in, it was gone. I go, what happened? You go, there's no hits in the orange goatee and orange. Oh my God! Dude, that's unbelievable. That's what it looked like. Were they selling those?
No, I wound up doing this once I retired and moved back out here to California. Started making meat hook shirts and stuff. Had my buddies buy them out here.
Dude, that's so awesome. so awesome. Hey, Train, I want to go back to the I got one more question about the 9-9 team, because I meant to ask Gravy this and I didn't ask him. I'm like, I gotta ask Demetrio when he comes on. Do you remember? So to set the stage for the fans, we go into the last 3 games against Milwaukee. We have to win 2 out of 3, and we're in. Right, we're in it. We don't even have to worry about the Astros. We don't have to worry about the Mets. The perfect storm that has to happen is for them, the Astros have to sweep, the Mets have to sweep, and we have to lose 2 out of 3, and then there'll be a 1-game playoff. But it doesn't matter. If we win 2 out of 3, we're in. So we're like, dude, that's going to happen. And if the Astros or Mets lose 1 game, we're in. So it's like, there's no way we could not be in. Well, I remember that we had a day off in Milwaukee the day before that 3-game series started. And I don't know if you remember this, but we did the bids meeting. Remember we got together to figure out who was going to get the playoff shares and all that stuff. And I remember thinking, I knew I was young at the time. I was 20. We were both 25. And I remember thinking, like, should we be doing this? You know what I mean? Should we be talking about who gets playoff shares? Like, we're not in yet. And what do you think, bro, of that meeting we had?
Yeah. I was thinking the same thing. You know, looking back, it was like, I should have waited. And what did we win? 1 out of 2 in Houston, and then we had to win 2 out of 3, which we wound up losing that first game. I didn't even play in, and then the second game I wound up being in. Then the last one we had to wait in that doggone wet storm until what time did the game was supposed to be at 2 and we started at 10?
Dude, it was a 7-hour rain delay, bro. We watched every NFL game. Remember, we just started playing fantasy football. We watched every game you could watch, and then we had to burn harness that game too. It was like a perfect storm of crap.
Yeah.
I don't think it started till 9 o'clock.
And to draw a better picture, we were playing at Old County Stadium, Miller Park. We wasn't playing at a nice domed, awesome stadium. We played in a real old turret.
Yeah,
we had to wait in that old clubhouse, moldy.
Oh yeah, and I think like looking back, I think I might have had 6 or 7 bratwursts too during the day. I'm like, oh, I don't feel good. Like, I'm about to crap my pants, let alone go play a big league game right now. You know what I mean? I'm like, it's unbelievable. But yeah, we ended up winning that game, and then we lost in game 163. But dude, what a team! All the years I played, bro, all the years. I mean, even going to the World Series with the Tigers, no team has my heart the way the 99 Reds has it. Just because so many unbelievable players and dudes on that team. Even like Jeffrey Hammonds, Michael Tucker, Brian Johnson, Pup. Hal Morris, Mark Lewis, dude, there were some studs on that team, man.
Man. Yeah, well, I got shaved, but my beard is chrome now. Yeah, man.
Me too.
Yeah, man. Listening to those memories, man, it's like, man, that was a good time, man. And I don't talk about this nearly enough because, I'm with high school kids now, and I just bring up bits and pieces, but when I do talk about the team, I do talk about the camaraderie that we had in '99, and that's what I teach the kids now. I'm wearing my apparel. This is the Scorpion hat, the Scorpion shirt, and I designed it all too.
And tell me that. Talk about that, Train. So you're coaching a high school right now, right? Is it Camarillo High?
Camarillo, yes.
And Camarillo, but you also, I did my homework, bro, because I got a couple things right here with this. You're at Camarillo High, but you grew up playing for Rio Mesa, which was the rival. You never thought you would ever coach for that team, right?
No way, because we all know when we play our rivals what we think about them, and I didn't think about. I thought about him as we can't curse on here, so I won't say anything.
Yeah, you can.
On
Yeah,
there,
you
so,
can. You curse. You curse.
Yeah.
No, I don't want to say anything. I don't want to be like, you think about my kids like this? This is what I thought about the school. I thought y'all were wussies. It's something that rhymes with that. But and I'm over. I said I'm gonna change coach area. It's like we're gonna play with class because kids out here like to chirp to the other team and talk to the umpire any which way, and it's like, no, we don't play that way, Right. So we play with class, and that was the first thing that I got out of them, and being accountable for their own actions and stuff. So when I talked to the parents the very first time on a Zoom meeting, thanks to COVID, I told them in a roundabout way that I'm helping their kids, the young boys, when they come in as freshmen, they'll leave as seniors ready to conquer the world. I'm teaching them accountability, how to take care of themselves and how to speak up for themselves. So when it comes to playing time, they can come talk to me. You can't talk to me. I'm like the president. I don't negotiate with terrorists.
That's great. And so are you anti like bat flip and all that stuff with the kids, or are you cool with that?
I tell them to be ready to pay the repercussions if you do that. It may be going on in today's game up in the big leagues, but down here you haven't done anything yet. So play with a little class. It's good to be excited and stuff. I used to do little pimp jobs and stuff myself, but you kind of got to earn that, and that's what I want the kids to be able to, earn it. You haven't done anything yet. You hit one home run, that doesn't make you a home run hitter.
I like that, man. I like that because I like the old school approach because I know it helped me, like growing up, like having to earn that respect. Respect's not given. You earn the respect by the way you play the game, how hard you hustle. Train for you now, man? You have such an opportunity to impact these kids, especially in high school. What are the couple things? What are the biggest things you teach as a head coach as far as like how they play the game? And I also want to know as a hitting coach at that level, because you're going to have so many guys of different talent levels that you have to play because you got to field a team. What are one or two main things you teach about hitting to get them to understand their swing?
Well, to answer the second one first, I tell them we got to have a line drive approach, which sounds boring, but wouldn't you rather get hits in games instead of working on launch angle? Because there are people that are out here, just like everywhere else, that are teaching launch angle due to the parents and the kids being desperate to try and hit home runs. And I think it's more important to be able to piece a base hit, have an approach up there at the plate, know how the pitcher's throwing you, because ultimately you're going to have to hit behind the runner. You're going to have to learn how to hit the gap. So you got to learn back control. And you can't learn back control trying to swing for the high heavens every single time, fouling all stuff and popping it up, or swinging and missing because they can't hit the top of the level fastball. Now, what was the first question again?
I like that.
I was real focused.
Like your philosophy on how they play the game. Like hey, you're playing for Dmitri Young. This is how we're going to play. This is how Camarillo High is going to play. How do I say it again?
Camarillo.
I got it. This is how Camarillo High is going to play.
Well, that was part of changing the culture, because I told them, I said, I did what 20,000 guys have done, and that's complete the journey. And the way that we completed the journey, one, we had fun doing it, but we worked our tails off. We hustle on and off the field, and we play with no fear. When we go up there to the plate, when we out there on the field, we out there to win a ball game. We're not doing it nicely. We have bad intentions up there. So I get them to bring out their confidence, because when we play with our confidence, we play at our very best. We swing a lot better when we're confident at the plate, knowing, okay, this guy has a fastball. I'm hunting fastballs. And that's what I tell them to do. Stop taking the fastball right down the middle. Look like you're looking for the curveball in the dirt, because you see it at the high school level. You're like, dude, this guy's throwing 80, and these guys are taking the fastball right there. And then when it's your son, you're like, dude, what are you looking for right there? That guy, we've been practicing all week. So when I get on the players, I'm very sarcastic, like a player's coach, because we both had good and bad managers along the way, good coaches, bad coaches. And the coaches that I had good relationship with the players where they can talk to them, but at the same time, at the beginning, let them know who's the boss. This is how it's going. And I want you to be a part of it. But if you're going to be disruptive and think that your way is better, you see that gate over there? Don't ever come back.
I love it, dude. I love it, man. And I'm sorry, bro. Kids need to hear that. It just can't always be, hey, it's just everybody be happy. Like, no, like put the work in. Let's go show up. Like, just show me what you got. You know what I mean?
Hey, You know what? I don't believe in a participation ribbon.
Yeah.
No, you get out there, you bust your butt out there. Hey, we came up short. We got to the semifinals this past year. We were one game away from playing Jack Wilson and Thousand Oaks for the CIF championship out here. But you know what? And that was what I told the kids our very first meeting that we had. Well, it was 6 feet apart, and we had our mask on. We had the social distance because I was going through COVID and when I got the job. So I had to tackle that whole thing. But my first message to them was, my goal is to win championships. And we're going to do our training. We're going to do everything it takes because I'm big on the developmental side of it. You know, if you do your part, you do your part, you do your part, we're going to win. And so we're going to do all the small stuff now, working on our defense, cutoffs, relays, pop-up priorities, first and third, you know, reading the ball in the dirt, and then execution with the backs. You know, so we do a lot of pepper, and the guys that can hit, I want you to hit, swing that bat. But when it's time to do the small stuff, they're going to be able to do the small stuff.
Dude, I tell you what, I love what you just said there. We do a lot of pepper. Talk about that. Why? That's a lost art. Because dude, there's so many kids out there swing and miss. Oh, Dad, I just missed it. I'm like, dude, sometimes you just got to play pepper. I'm like, what's that? I'm like, oh my God, it's a lost art. It's what we used to do. It's what the dudes in the 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, when there wasn't batting practice, they played pepper, right? And so can you talk about a little bit why do kids play? What is pepper, and why do you have your kids still do that?
You know what? Pepper is when you have about 4 or 5 guys, 3 or 4, whatever you need. You have one guy that's hitting. You have 3 guys that are fielding. And you can do a whole bunch of things. With the hitter, you're working on seeing the ball to your bat and bat control as you're hitting ground balls to the various guys that are throwing. And for those guys that are throwing, you're working on your fielding, getting in position, and being able to throw a strike. And so everybody's working on something during that time. But for hitters, it's being able to hit the ball to the right side, be able to pull the ball, hit the ball right up the middle. So you're working on your contact point. So when you do have the hit and run, guess what? You can hit the ball behind the runner on the ground, because the small stuff is what win ball game. Not always the 3-run homer. You got that guy that's throwing 93, 94 as a high schooler, and you're barely making contact. You're trying to play for 1 run, and the best way to do that is you got to play pepper. You got to make the defense move with the guy that's throwing. And when you do that, guess what? It makes it a lot easier to stay out of double play. And then when you have the infield in, okay, boom, hit the ball up the middle, or you get a ball to the outfield, boom. That's that 1 run that you madly need. And that's the difference between teams that are going to the playoffs in high school and when we watch on pros, or they watching it like we are on TV. Like, man, if we would have done this early in the year, we would have been there.
And first of all, like, you don't see that in a professional game much right now. When you see, like, you 2 guys are 300 hitters. When you see the shift and you see a guy not use the shift, do you throw your shoe at the TV, Dmitri, these days?
No, the TV's expensive. You know, I just kind of watch and just see how the game is evolving, whether it's a positive or a negative. And when you look in the dugout and you're looking at the coaching staff and the coaching staff you never heard of, you know, it's just like, you know, you got guys in the big leagues learning from guys that never played. And I'm not saying that you have to play to be there, but I mean, you got to have somebody as a hitting coach with some sort of experience up there to be able to not talk about your bat angle, your arm slot, and like bend rate and exit velo. It's like, you know, you got that guy on second base right there, and you've been stinking up the joint right now. Why don't you just hit that ball to the right side so the guy behind you gets some in so we can win? Because that's what it's all about. I mean, jeez. And they're not doing a good job of meshing the new school with the old school. I think once they do that, because I think the numbers are important, but it doesn't measure the human.
That's true. That is so true, man. Shane, when you watch the brand of Big League Baseball now, what things do you love, and what things do you think like, man, I don't love that about the game in 2021?
All right, the things I love is they play with excitement now.
Yeah.
They play with a lot of excitement, some flair, and guys ain't getting mad about bat flips or the pitcher going like this or anything like that. It's like, let the kids play. Love that. But you already mentioned the shift. Them worrying about the time of the game. It's like the game got slow because of the bullpens. Tony La Russa constantly moving in, for situational pitching. It's like, oh God, but that's part of the evolution of the game. I mean, I'm not against the clock, but I mean, I am against the shift. Seeing the third baseman playing shallow right field is like, and then the guys aren't bunting. I was like, oh my God, I'll just push a couple that way.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, you don't have to be fast. You can be slower than you. and beat it out.
Now that's slow, bro. That's slow.
Hey, who would win in a race between you and Paul Konerko?
Oh, dude, I had Paulie, man. And we always joke around about that. I'm like, listen, they might have traded the wrong first baseman when Konerko was there with you, me. How about the first baseman for the 98 Reds were me, Dmitri Young, Eduardo Perez, and Paul Konerko.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, and they ended up trading Konerko. I was like, you might have traded the wrong guy. That's all right though. Well, me and Demetrio still had really good careers in Cincy, but yeah, I always tell Konerko, bro, you can rake, but I'm no doubt faster than you. But he would obviously probably say different. I say I'm faster than Konerko.
Hey, too bad we can't set up that race.
That's so funny, dude. I know. We'll set it up one day. Me, Konerko, and Benji Molina. We'll see if we can do who would win in the 30-yard dash, because we couldn't make it past 30. I think that'll be about it. Hey, let's talk about speed, bro, real quick. I want to go to your 2003 season with the Tigers when you had 7 triples, and recently your name came up because Victor Reyes of the Tigers ended up hitting 2 triples in the same game from each side, one from each side of the plate. The last person to do that was you in 2003. Talk about playing at Comerica Park and how your 29 home runs that year probably should have been 49, and how tough it is to play there, and how what was your time like, especially that year in Detroit?
Well, talking about the 29 home runs, should have been 49 home runs. Well, the reason why it was 29 home runs, we had 43 wins as a team that year.
Oh,
we was
wow.
43 and 119.
Oh,
yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah. And that was more of a prove-it year, because when I got traded from Cincinnati to Detroit after the 01 season, I only played half a year in 02, and I was playing with a hernia.
Wow.
A hernia that was sticking out, and I played on that for like a good 3 months, and it wasn't until right before the All-Star break in 02 I got thrown out by Johnny Damon.
Oh my gosh. Okay, that's bad. Tell me about that. Tell me about that. What happened there?
I was on second base. We're playing in Fenway, and I forgot who got a base hit, and I'm chugging around third, and Johnny Damon, he pulls the pin out and throws the grenade. And then a 3-hopper to the catcher, and then out, and then it was just like, yeah, I'm done. I was grimacing, trying to run around the bases with this hernia just sticking out, and it was just like real painful. It was like painful to the cough, but as players, we just try and just fight through. And then it was like, okay, when you get thrown out by Johnny Damon, it's time to shut it down. And so I wound up.
Put me on the DL. Put me on the DL. Yeah. Johnny Damon just.
And shortly thereafter, Dave Dombrowski asked, and I was like, yeah, I need surgery. So the next day, Jeff Weaver got traded to the Yankees, and that's how Carlos Pena became a Tiger. Him
Oh,
and
wow.
Frankie Herman and Jeremy Bonderman. And then Ted Lilly went to the A's.
You know, I remember covering baseball back then, and the big story was like, is it okay to put these? I'm looking at their stats now, like 17 losses for, was it Corneo? Marath had 21 losses. Bonderman was a kid. He's 20 years old. That's the story that I remember the most. Bonderman was 20 years old, and they let him lose 19 games that year. And it was a big question of, is he developing by doing this, or are we destroying him by doing this? So being like the vet kind of on a team, what was it like?
You know what? Actually, Casey, you remember in '99 when Scott Willie came out of nowhere and was just shoving?
Oh yeah.
And then it was like we got to keep this guy. Same thing with Bondo. Bondo came in. Bondo has Bondo is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's lots of rocks, but he's just such a gamer and just wants to go out there and play. Like,
got all the tats ready to go.
Oh yeah, well he didn't have the tats then.
When I played with him, he had the tats.
Well, that was thanks to me and my tattooist Omi.
Was it really? Are you serious?
Yeah.
You're the reason Jeremy Bonderman has tats?
Well, him and Zamaya and all those guys.
Oh, no way, dude.
Yeah. Oh, I'll tell you the story.
Tell me that. I want to hear that.
All right. This happened back in 2004, the year that the Red Sox won it, and I was calling Pokey up. I was gonna hang out with him once we flew into town. So flew into town, and I was hanging out with Pokey, and then the tattooist friend came over, and we was all hanging out, and I was just talking about getting tattoos on my forearm, something bold. And the dude in his Boston accent, yo, my friend, he flew in from LA, yo, he can do these tattoos and stuff. I was like, what's his name? Yo, his name's Omi, yo. He's gonna give me a call a little later. And so about 2 o'clock in the morning, the guy calls the dude up, and he comes over and was like, okay, cool. We meet each other, and I was like, I'll see you after the game tomorrow. So after the Red Sox beat our ass, they come over to the room, and when you're getting a tattoo and you don't know the guy, you kind of want to, feel the guy out, and you're kind of looking at the work and stuff. And I was like, this dude's pretty cool right here. And so wound up seeing a negative flame on a mechanic, and the flame was going the other way, but I wanted it going this way because that's when I started doing the hook. So when I do the hook, I can blow out the flame. And so after I got the tattoo the next day, we're facing your colleague, Pedro.
Whoa, well, buckle up.
Well, what happened was, boom, I hit a double right down the pesky pole. I get to second base, and looking in the dugout, I'm blowing out the flame. Not remembering who's watching.
Oh no!
So the very next at bat, the boom, all up in my fat backs. And I'm like, ooh! And then I put the bat down, and I'm running the first, and I look over at him, and he's going,
no way!
And I just, you know what? I was like, no, I'm not gonna do like who's the dude that ran up on Pedro?
Gerald Williams?
Gerald Williams.
Yeah. I looked and I was like, I just took my cap because I was like, yeah, you're right.
My God, that's so great. I think it was the right move too, because I work with Pedro now, and Pedro's got like a little like Dominican fire in him. He's like, oh yeah, you want to come out? You think I'm a little guy? Like I will start throwing haymakers,
Well, remember what he did to Don Zimmer?
Yeah, that's true.
Well, he just sideswiped Dom Zimmer. He just kind of, and then Zim just went, "Uh-oh, I got no balance right now." You know what I mean?
Oh,
yeah.
Man.
Whoa.
That was insane.
So so after you got the flame though, what about how did Bonderman and Zumaya? Where do they factor in?
Well, I had tattoo parties. I had them during spring training, and I'll have it during the course of the year. I'll have Omi fly out, and of course, I'll say 3/4 of the guys would be like, "Oh man, I'm gonna get a tattoo. Yeah, I want to get this. I want to get this." Then when Omi shows up, "Oh yeah, my wife says I can't get a tattoo." but then for the guys that were able to, oh my God, they just went crazy. And once you get your first tattoo, that's when the creative juices in your head start flowing. It's like you'll see something like on an album cover, it's like, oh, I want that. Or you'll see something like, okay, I'll change that up a little bit and make it that. And then you want your initials, and then you want to get like a family crest, and then you want something that
That's so true.
it gets out of hand. I have over 80.
Wow. How many do you have?
Over 80.
80 tattoos. Oh my God. I was just going to ask you how many you have. 80 tattoos, D. No way. That is awesome.
I ain't got one within the last 7 years. They hurt now.
Oh, yeah. Dude, I remember with Gravy, you know, Danny Graves is tatted to the gills too. And I remember going to Arizona one time. He got like this sunshine on his neck. And I think we were there for like 6 hours, something ridiculous. I'm like, dude, are you serious? Like 6 hours of pain. It was a beautiful tattoo, but I'm too hairy. I'm like, everyone's like, are you gonna ever get a tattoo? I'm like Chewbacca. So like, it's like, I get this like couple $1,000 tattoo and it looks like freaking a chia pet, you know, jumped on top of it.
Well, you know what? You just may have created something right there. Maybe do an outline, and then with the hair coming in, you know, dang, that's a pretty good idea there, kid.
Yeah, it's a good idea.
Yeah, you got like you can do Captain Caveman on one side. You got Chewbacca. Oh man,
Love it. Okay, so lost your audio, man. Nope. We're not live, Demetrio. It'll be quick. Case never plugs anything in before the show.
Let's see, Casey never got in trouble for that yield sign.
Oh, tell that story in a second. Were you there with them with that? Okay.
No.
No. Look at it. I see you. You don't have any bars there, Sean. Or do you? Oh yeah, you do. Want to jump out and jump back in? There we
How about
go.
now?
Yeah.
Bro, you guys don't.
What did you push the mute button?
Bro, no, I don't know what I did, but dude, D, you're not gonna believe what just happened. I went down to freaking plug in the thing. I got a left hamstring cramp, and I went down. I'm like, and then I got a cramp in the side. I'm like, what the? So I was laying on the ground here while you guys are talking. I'm like,
Oh man, I thought you was trying to fix something down there. I didn't know you were in agony.
I was trying to until I got the left hamstring cramp. I had to kick my leg out. You know how you do that sometimes? I had to kick it out and lay and just sprawl out on the ground for a second until it went away. Oh my God, it's unbelievable.
Right. So when last we left you, we were talking about tattoos, and you could never have one, Sean. And even though we had a good idea for that.
Oh yeah. And what I was saying was I could never have a tattoo because I remember back in 2003 when Dempster came to the Reds. He was like, he comes in one day and Dempster's hairy as hell too. He comes in the hairy guys kind of hang out together. You know what I mean? Like, you know. So Dempster comes in one day. He's like fully shaven and looking good. He's like, Case, check me out. I'm like, dude, you look good. He's like, I went and got electrolysis down this girl in Cincinnati. You got to go check her out. I'm like, all right. He's like, it's $1,500 for 6 sessions. boom, you end up having no hair. So I'm like, that sounds like a freaking deal. So I go down there the first day, and you know, I go, listen, I'd like to get the no hair on the upper arms, you know, my neck and my back. So she's there. It's like, and she's like, zap, 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 zap. So I'm like, it's not bad for the first 5-10 minutes. She's like, it ain't bad. But then you're just kind of like, you know, it's like you're getting bee stung. You're like, oh God, it's ridiculous. But then she does it, train. I'm like, you know, boom, I'm done. I go in there, and Lonnie Soloff, who was our trainer, was like, Case, you look good. I was like, bro, you got to check out this ladies electrolysis in Cincinnati. But so the three of us start to go. But the second time I go back, I go to Lonnie Soloff, the trainer. I go, bro, you got any? I don't take pain meds, but you got any pain meds I can take? He's like, yeah, what's bugging you? Hamstring, neck? I go, no, I'm going to get my second treatment of electrolysis. I was like, this shit hurts. So I go back, bro, get the second treatment. You know, I'm like, you know what? That's good for me, bro. I'm not going back. You know, I mean, that's it. So about a year later, I look in the mirror one morning and I'm like, I'm as hairy as I've ever been. Like I've never seen this much. I've never been this hairy. Like so I end up calling the lady up like, man, I'm like, I paid you $1,500 looking to get rid of some of this hair I got on my body, on my, you know, shoulders and my arm stuff. It's like, I'm hairier than I've ever been. I've never had this much hair. She goes, the first two treatments are the hair activation treatments. We activate every hair follicle in your body. He goes, then it grows out, and then the next 4 get rid of it forever. And I go, are you serious? So you're telling me I just paid $1,500 to get hairier? She goes, yeah, if you don't come back. I was like, screw it, I ain't coming back. So I'm hairier. I paid $1,500. I'm the only guy in the history of this freaking business that paid $1,500 to get hairier. That's
nice
why
donation there, Case.
Exactly, donation, and that's why I train. I say, if I can't handle the freaking electrolysis, I can't handle a freaking 7-hour tattoo with Joel Zumaya and Bonderman and you and the freaking with Omi.
Oh my God.
Oh my God, dude. Train, I gotta. Well, first off, I want one thing. Give me your best All-Star Game story. You went to 2 of them. Give me your best All-Star Game story.
Ooh, let me see. Was it the one where I didn't get the hit, or was it the one where I got the hit? Yeah, let's go with the one where I got the hit. So that was in 2000. So that was in 2007. What we had, like, what was it? 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning. I was on the National League side. We were down, and I'm going up to face on JJ Putz.
Oh yeah,
and yeah, oh yeah, that's right. Yeah, he threw a first pitch fastball, and I didn't know he had a ball that did that.
Oh.
Yeah. He threw one of those, and I had one of those awful swings, like I never played the game before. And then I swung through another one, so I'm 0-2, and I'm like, man, I ain't going to be the guy that makes the last out. So I wound up hitting his cutter, and Brian Roberts, who's playing second, we know he doesn't have the best range in the world. And he somehow got to the ball, and it hit off the heel of his glove. But he was in the outfield, and let me see. That was 2007. I hit 320 that year. My weight was also 320 that year. So that was like my only infield hit that year. You know, so when I hit 320, all the balls I hit got to the outfield. I didn't have the luxury of having any field hits. So well, I was proud about that moment. And then that was when, Tony La Russa was looking for Albert Pujols because he wanted him to pinch hit, especially when the bases were loaded, and Aaron Rowan wound up striking out to end the game. But Albert Pujols was mad at Tony because Tony didn't have him hit earlier in the game. He played Derek Lee instead, so Albert took off.
I just said he left, didn't he?
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Nowhere to be found.
Oh my God! See you later. Oh my God, that's great. Oh my God, Train. Let's talk about that really quick, because bro, a couple years later, I saw you. I think at my Hall of Fame induction in 2012, and I mean, bro, I think initially I didn't recognize you. I'm like, oh my gosh. It's like, is Dmitri sick? Because I remember 300. I remember, at least 240-pound Dmitri. I didn't remember 300-pound, but 240. But dude, can you talk about that a little bit? Like, you kind of transformed yourself after you were done playing, getting healthy, and talk about that a little bit.
Well, yeah, it was like after I retired, just getting older and trying to control the whole diabetes thing and stuff, and it was like virtually impossible. But so I had to make like a real lifestyle change. And one thing I did was I won't say I eliminated. Well, for a time I eliminated drinking entirely. I'll still have me an occasional,
Right.
social. But what I did was portion control. Instead of eating, I eat like there was no tomorrow. Like I eat everything on the table, forks and spoons included. And so I just started eating smaller, and then I was going to the gym, and I would do stadium steps, or I'll do the elliptical, and I'll just do that for however many steps. I wouldn't do it for time. I would do it more like however many steps, and I wound up doing like 15,000 twice a day. And then with the portion control with food, I would eat more times a day, but I eat smaller portions. So instead of eating 3 sandwiches, I'll eat one sandwich, I'll have some fruit, and then I'll be hungry a couple of hours later, and then I'm eating something like that, and that's just keeping the metabolisms going. And so initially, I went from like 298 to like 265 like that, and then for like a good 3 weeks, my body wouldn't do anything. It kept the weight on, and I was about to quit, but then I was like, you know what? Let me just see it through. Let me not quit. And then, boom, another 20 came off like that. And what happened was, when I come to find out, the body got used to losing that 30 pounds and was still holding on to the rest of it until the body got comfortable to be able to lose it. And then once that happened, and it took that 3-week period, so I was like, oh, okay. And now I have better control of the diabetes and stuff because I'm diabetic. And I found that out at the end of 06.
Wow.
And so.
Well,
you look great. Wait, can I go back to one thing? Like, if you were at a deli, you would order 3 sandwiches at once?
Once upon a time, yeah. I was getting those big ones
amazing.
too. Extra meat. Oh, yeah.
Amazing.
Oh, we go eat sushi. I'm not getting a boat. I'm getting the entire ship.
Oh my God, dude! I remember that about you, Train. You used to crush sushi. I remember we went out. I don't know if we were in San Fran, but I was sitting next to you. We got sushi, and it was the one place where the boat comes around, and they just kept like circling, and like Demetrio would grab like 8 California roll for me, boom. And he'd be like, spider roll, bam. And I'm like, dang, Train. I was like, I've never seen a human eat this much sushi in my entire life.
Oh man, still do. I love sushi, and it's fresh out here in Southern California too.
Oh yeah, it's a little different here in Pittsburgh. The sushi we get here and the sushi you get there is a little different.
Hey, you know what? I blame Aaron Boone for that one.
Why?
Well, he was the one that introduced me to it in Sarasota. What year was it? Either 2000 or 2001, whatever year it was me, him, and Gabe Alvarez. We went one day after practice. This was before we were playing games, and he was like, "Big D, you got to have an open mind, and you can't think of it like catfish." I'm like, okay, so I'm trying it, and I'm like, man, this is pretty doggone good, and I had I probably had 3 pieces of each. Just like a trial run. Well, that trial run turned into, I went to that place 2 more times that day. And then I went there the next day, like right after practice. And that's when I kept going, sushi.
Oh, man, I love it, dude. One of the coolest things I've ever seen in my entire life, because I was a card collector growing up. And Dmitri and I lockered together next to each other in Cincinnati. The greatest collection, look it up, the greatest card collection of rookie gem mid 10s in probably the history of collecting was collected by Dmitri Young. And I watched it happen. Like I watched like a gem mid 10, Hank Aaron would pop in, then a Stan Musial. Like cards like you've never seen before, bro. Break that down for us. Why did you start doing the collection? And what I want to know was, I know you had so many unbelievable cards, Hall of Famers. I want to know what your favorite cards were of that collection.
All right. Well, the whole card collecting thing started when I was younger. You know, playing baseball. When you go to the concession stand, and they would have boxes of baseball cards. You know, the bubblegum cards, 35 cents. 50 cents, and then they started getting out of hand with the prices. But I would get the baseball cards, and I would always collect the rookie cards, and that's how I really got into baseball. And so as I got older, and there was a couple of times where I had brought home a report card that resembled my first name initial, and so my parents would throw those cards away. And so it got to a point where, now I'm in the big leagues. I was with the Cardinals at the time, and so I would go to the card shop and get some cards. But it wasn't until Danny Grays and I did a card show in Cincinnati after, I want to say, second year there, and I wanted a Pete Rose rookie card. That's all I wanted. And so I did it, and I got a PSA 8 Pete Rose rookie. And so I got the card, and I was like, okay, let me start looking up PSA, Professional Sports Authenticators, and then the grading standards, what a PSA 10 was, 9, 8 for the grading standards, and what they look for in the card and stuff. And so I started getting PSA 8s off of eBay, and then I would start getting PSA 9s, and people were offering PSA 10s for basically PSA 9 prices. And at the time, I really didn't know anything about it. So when I was buying these cards, I had this one card dealer. He was knocking me upside the head with these damn prices. He just saw an athlete with some money who liked cards and really wasn't looking out for my best interest. He was looking out for his best interest. And when I wound up getting traded to the Tigers, and I was happy because I was like 4 years I could collect, because I had signed a 4-year deal there. And so it was like open season on getting baseball cards, and it was like, ooh wee. But then Robert Fick, one of my favorite teammates as well, he introduced me to this guy named Dave Bailey, who did a lot of autograph signings and stuff for the guys in Detroit. And Dave was like, if you like the guy that you're dealing with, that's fine. I was like, nah, man, I feel like he bending me over. And he was like, okay. Right. And he go, okay, what card are you looking for? And at the time, there was a PSA 10 Carlton Fisk rookie, 72 tots, him and Cecil Cooper on the same card. And
Train, real quick, can you explain how do you get the PSA 10, PSA 9? Jim, what does that mean?
PSA 10 is a virtual perfect card. When you get it out of the holder, or you get it out of the bubblegum card or whatever, it has 4 sharp corners. The edging, the surface is good, no print dots or any imperfections. The centering is absolutely immaculate, and it has like that gloss, that eye appeal that just makes it look like it's 3D. And PSA is very stingy about grading 10s, but if the card has those attributes, boom. And then PSA 9 is a little bit more of an allowance of the centering and stuff, and the eye appeal and things like that is just slightly below a 10, and then 8 slightly below a 9. And then when you see cards that have a crease in and things like that, those cards are generally between. No, there's value to those too. They're set collectors. There are people that collect sets and whatever. Yeah, so you get a whole set of cards. You just send them in to get graded. You'll get a common card that can go as much or more than some of the like popular cards, due to the fact that, well, not many people are grading them, and then you have people trying to build sets.
Wow.
So I mean, this whole PSA thing can get out of hand, which it is right now, because
there's some criminals out there, right? There are some criminals who are counterfeiting cards. I just read about that recently. That's nuts.
Well, they've been doing that when I was playing too. It was bad. They'll do like fake card holders that PSA put the cards in, and put fake labels and stuff. and then charge up the yin yang, and then people type in like the cert verification of the number that they have on there to look up the card, and it wouldn't show up on there, and it's like, hey, what's going on here?
Wow.
Nice.
Wow. Wow. So Train, go ahead. Sorry, I finished your story you were saying.
Oh my God, I have so many stories. Which one was I talking about?
Well, you were talking just about, like, you were talking about the one guy you sent cars the way to you was ripping you off. You ended up going to Dave Bailey, and then all of a sudden, boom, you started going down and getting some good cards.
I was getting good cards with it was the Carlton Fisk. The guy was asking, what was he asking for? He was asking for like 20,000 for it, and they wound up getting it for 12.5. And
wow.
And then from there I was like, deuces to the other dude, and and then the dude tried to sue me. It was like, man, we had an email agreement on this, and then I was like, all right, let me stick MLB security on this fool real quick. I was like, get out of here. Yeah, this guy's out for my money. I'm trying to collect cards, enjoy something that I did growing up, and it was nice to wind up building that collection. And there was some people that I met along the way that are still doing it. A guy by the name of Jason Kuntz, who does OTIA Sports, and he deals with high-end memorabilia. And he was just starting out when I met him, and so it was like, it's always good to keep someone like that on your side, because now that I don't collect anymore, but I do have people that collect and they want to get certain things, so I'll just send them his way.
That's so cool, man. Who was your favorite card of those Gem Mint? No. What was your most expensive card you paid for? And then who was your favorite? And then you sold the collection. What'd you sell it for?
All right, I sold it for 2.6. It went in the SCP auction back in 2012.
Wait, 2.6 what? 2.6 what? Million?
What? 2.6 million. I told you, bro.
Keep going.
But, all right, my absolute favorite card was Hank Aaron, the PSA2. That was my favorite player, and that also was the most expensive. But my second favorite card was somebody that was real near and dear to me during my time in Detroit, and that was Willie Horton.
Oh, wow. Well, love Willie, man.
Yes.
Love Willie.
That Willie was, oh my God.
Oh. Why was Willie so important to you?
Well, when I got traded over there, it was like, I get to be a leader now, because we were all young guys together in Cincinnati. And then when we branched off, it was like, I'm coming to a disastrous organization that needs a little bit of help. And I was the start of that help over there, and then start building from there, getting more players, but teaching those young guys how to enjoy the big leagues, because you had some leaders over there on that team that didn't exactly look out for the younger players or made their lives miserable. And it's like, dude, we worked our tails off to get to this point. And I understood it, because when I was with the Cardinals, when we had 3 guys that had over 20 years and you had guys that had 15, 16 years, you're supposed to be seen and not heard. Yeah. And I totally understand that. But when you're kind of browbeating the rookies and having them doing crazy stuff, like, I don't mind the hazing as far as putting on the wig and stuff and going to get beer for the guys. But I mean, there was some stuff that was going on there that it was just like, that kind of put an end to. And, the guys got to come up and enjoy their experience.
Yeah, I agree.
Be like, I get to the big leagues and I got tortured by a guy that I looked up to. Like, that's terrible.
Yeah, that's not cool. Yeah, that's not cool. That's not cool. Let's talk about torture a little bit. Who did you torture in the big leagues? Like, who was the guy you're like, oh man, I got this guy, and who tortured you? Who were you like, this is not gonna be a good one?
All right. We'll go with the good story first. Well, I love me some Jason Jennings and Jake Westbrook. I think I was 500 against both of them, with multiple home runs, multiple doubles, a whole bunch of RBIs. And remember seeing Westbrook out one time, after the game, you go and you see him at the bar or whatever, he saw me, and you know how some pictures, he just said, "Oh man," you know, he was just playing around and stuff, but it was just like.
That's good. Both had good stuff too. Both were nasty. So for you to own those guys, that's impressive.
Well, you know, there were sinker slider guys. You pick a side, in or out.
Right.
And so in 07 with Jason Jennings, he had me up against the ropes. This was when he was with the Astros, and we were playing in what is it called? Minute Maid now? It was Enron.
Yeah. Enron, but oh boy. They don't say that too loud anymore in Houston, bro.
Jason Jennings had me down it was like 0-2. He threw a curveball, I swear it was about 55 feet. It was about to hit my front foot. And next thing you know, it wrapped around the pole for a home run. And as I hit first, you know, I just kind of look over as I'm jogging. I look at him, and he's go, "Dude, what the hell?" and I was like, "Hey, I don't know." And okay, and now for the disastrous who kicked my ass. All right. and I love answering this one. And you actually know the guy, because normally when I tell the story, I go and I have a countdown. I said, number 3 was Billy Wagner. I was 0 for 9, 7 punch outs. I suck. Right. Number 2 was Mariano Rivera. I could hit him on either side. You know, I batted against him on the right side because the cutter would go away. The best I did against him on each side was a 1-2-3 double play to end the game. Each side.
You put it in play.
Yeah, going to first base like this. and then number 1, I was 0 for 13, 11 punch outs, 2 pop-ups in foul territory caught by the catcher. I'm gonna describe the scenario first. So at this time I was 0 for 10. We're playing against the Indians in Cleveland, and at the time Eric Wedge is the manager. Rafael Betancourt's on the mound. I liked hitting him, and apparently they knew that. So Eric Wedge walks out. He looks at me smiling and does this.
Uh-oh.
And he calls in the pitcher, and I go, "Oh shit!" So I make a beeline back to the dugout, and Alan Trammell, Hall of Fame, Alan Trammell's the manager. I go, "Hey, Tram, yeah." And when you stink against somebody, you know the stats. I go, "Hey, Tram, I'm like 0 for 10 against this guy. I can't touch him. And can we get someone else to pinch hit?" And Kirk Gibson, our bench coach, fiery Kirk Gibson, he's like, "Man, take your ass up there and strike out like a man." Yeah. So I walk back up there, and then I wound up popping them up in foul territory, and then I come back, and I was happy, and then they were just shaking their head. The guy's name is David Risky.
Oh my God, David Risky, yes. David Risky had some good stuff, man. Not the biggest of guys, but he had a good fastball.
Yeah, he had a rising fastball. It just rise. And I tried swinging down. I tried swinging up. I tried going the other way. I tried pulling. Nothing worked.
Yeah.
A couple of years ago, I friended him on Facebook, and I said, "Hey, man, I just had to friend you, man, because, you know, I had to request a friendship because of the way that you kicked my ass." And I was like, "Yeah, I'd say that you were the number 1 dude, man." And he's like, "Oh, man, thank you." So,
dude, that is so funny because, you know, the Billy Wagners, the Mariano Rivera, welcome to the club. You throw a David Risky out there. I was the same way. All these guys, and then Steve Klein. I was like the nastiest guy for me was Steve Klein. Like, I was like 0 for my first 19. I didn't strike out a lot, but I struck out against him. It was like sinker, slider. It was the only time, D, that I started guessing. I'm like, all right, I'm going to guess sinker. And he would throw the opposite. It was so frustrating. But, like, it wasn't sometimes it's not the nastiest guys that everyone faces. It's the guys like David Risky and Steve Klein, these, like, late inning relievers that have good stuff that just have your number. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah, but everybody else was beating up on him, and then it came up to me. I was like, "All right, we're out of this inning."
I know. It's unbelievable. All right, Train, we're going to do, at the end of this, we do a game we play called 9 and 90. Chinch is going to explain what it is.
We never explained this, right? So basically, it's just this or that questions. I asked Sean first. It's called 9 to 90 because it's 9 topics in 90 seconds. So you can react to it a little bit and have your point. You'll see how Sean answers the first one. You just pick up the same question after his first answer. Okay. We're horrible. You ready, Sean? You guys ready? All right, first one. Best generation for wrestling, 80s, 90s, or 2000s?
Hang on a second. Hang on. I have to, before we do 9 and 90, I cannot have Dmitri on without talking wrestling for 1 second.
Oh, go ahead first.
Because, dude, Train and I are the biggest wrestling fans, and that was one thing that we always like. Back when the NWO was big, we used to do the 2 sweets. So if you go back and watch the 99 Reds, 2001, we crossed home plate. Train and I, we boom, you know, when we crossed for a home run. That was our big thing.
Actually, what we did before the game, because he was, it was right after you got 5 hits. We go 2, maybe 4, maybe 5.
Yeah, that's right. Our handshake was 2, maybe 4, maybe 5.
4,
that's
maybe
right.
5.
Oh, dude, that's so great. I forgot about that. That's so great. But I used to love, bro. It was like, you know, that's why Demetrio and I, like, I think we had so much in common, like the cards, the wrestling, like so many things.
Oh, wait, was he there when you used to make Adam Dunn pay for the pay-per-views? Was that the story?
Yeah, it was Dmitri and I. We used to go to Dunn's.
You guys out.
Oh, yeah.
It used to be me and Dmitri would show up at Dunn and Kearns' house for the pay-per-view. They're in the minor leagues. They got the spreads, and me and Dmitri like, thanks for having us, guys. We'll see you in a couple of years.
A little price for them to pay, but it was well worth it.
Yeah, well worth it. But, dude, I want to go back to the 2000 Pillman. Flying Brian Pillman had died a few years earlier. His family was from Cincinnati. His wife was still there, and they had the big fundraiser there, and they had some, dude, there were some, Kevin Nash was there. Chris Benoit was there. Ric Flair was there. D'Lo Brown was there. You know,
Eddie Guerrero, Rey Mysterio. There were a lot of guys that were there.
A lot of guys there. But you know, and we both kind of we had our moments of glory. I know we had some moments of glory in the big leagues, but I think that night for you and me, you know, was something that was like a childhood dream. I was a special guest referee for the Harris brothers and Disco Inferno and Billy Kidman, and I luckily Charles Robinson, who's still, you know, Little Nature's still a ref in the WWE, came in, took a bump for me. I took him out. It was awesome. You know, it was so cool. But then can you tell us about that night? I think it was you and Danny Graves came to the ring, right?
Yeah, it was Eddie Guerrero. It was Rey Mysterio. It started out as a singles match, and then there was an interference, and it turned into a tag team match. I want to say, was it Perry Saturn and Dean Malenko? I think it was those two that wound up coming in, and it was a tag team match. And man, let me tell you, those guys are short. They're so short. Oh my God! But athletic as hell.
Yes.
You know, it was like you watch the stuff that they do in the ring, and us being wrestling fans. I'm still a wrestling fan now. Still doing the podcast on the Wrestling Perspective, and that's on Fight TV now.
Oh, is it really?
Podcast. Yeah, we're on Fight TV.
Oh, great. Dude, that's great. Dimitri's got an unbelievable podcast. Is Kendall still doing it with you?
Kendall is no longer doing it with us. It's me, Petey Williams, of course, the host Dennis Farrell, Darren McCarty, sometimes D-Mac, and Lars Fredrickson from the punk group Rancid.
Wow, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah. Hey, and Lars is awesome. That dude knows a thing or two about some wrestling. And I didn't realize how cool his music was either, man. God, dog. Some good stuff.
Bro, they're legit, dude. They're really legit. Are you still doing that every week, Train?
I'll probably do it tomorrow. They did it last night, and I wasn't able to be on. But yeah, they do it like once or twice a week.
Who's been your favorite guest so far? Like, you kind of fanboy. You went Mark on them.
Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was awesome. CM Punk.
oh, dude.
And this was
heels. Tell him.
Bro, I wanted to talk about that. Two things. Did you see CM Punk coming back in AEW?
yes.
And what'd you think of that pop? Was that one of the best pops you've ever seen in the history of wrestling?
Ever.
Ever.
That was insane. And we talked to him a few weeks prior, and he didn't let the cat out of the bag, and he was very personable, friendly, and he answered all the questions. We don't have tough questions, but I mean, he's just all around just a great guy, and it's like, man, after that, I was like, I'm really pulling for you now, and him basically talking about bringing up the younger guys like Darby Allin, for instance. He's going to wrestle him in All Out. Darby Allin's a bad dude, and so watching CM Punk come back here and just spread what he spread, and especially how AEW, Impact, and all of them, they open up that fourth door, and they're doing interpromotional stuff, and I think that is just absolutely awesome watching people come from different organizations.
No, it's getting fun now. It's like back when it was WCW, WWE before McMahon bought it all, and it got monopolized. Now that AEW is in on TNT, and now, even ROH is still good, and but seeing guys like, I think Daniel Bryan's going to jump to AEW, and maybe Strowman, who knows? But when CM Punk came out, bro, just all the years, the last 7 years of like chants in WWE, CM Punk, and then at AEW when they start chanting CM Punk, and then Cult of Personality comes on, and then he comes out, and you're like, you've been waiting 7 years to have CM Punk come out, and bam, he comes. It was unbelievable.
Hey, and he left them ice cream bars.
Yeah. So great, dude. Oh my gosh, man, so cool. That's so cool. That podcast you do is so great. I'd love to come back on with you guys too, whenever you get and if you ever want to throw me in when you guys get a big guest too. I like that.
Hey, definitely. Definitely. Because Dennis was asking about you too.
That'd be great. Well, tell Dennis I said hi. I love Dennis, but I'd love to come back on at some point.
Oh, we'd love to have you back on.
Okay, awesome, bro. Awesome. All right, I had to get the wrestling stuff in because D and I could probably do a whole podcast on wrestling real quick. So, all right, so
we'll start over. But no, that's good. That gives context because that's not going to be the only wrestling question I do have in here, but I did my research. So, starting from the beginning again, Sean, best generation for wrestling, 80s, 90s, or 2000s, or other?
Oh, wow. I'm gonna have to say the late 90s into 2000. I don't know. Like, I loved Flair and the Four Horsemen in the 80s. I thought it was unbelievable, and Hogan and stuff. But when you had Stone Cold, The Rock, D-Generation X, WCW, the Wars, I just thought that was the best time of wrestling. When Dmitri and I were teammates, 98, 99, 2000, that time.
All right, Demetrio, what's your take?
I'm with him 100%.
All right.
The late 90s, early 2000s. And I like the 80s too, dude. That was right when I got into wrestling and watching WTBS, the NWA wrestling that always got interrupted by NASCAR to bring a game of college football.
That's true.
That's so true.
All right, next one. Sean, you have to leave your house immediately and can only take one of these with you. Your cell phone or all your family photo albums. Which do you choose?
Probably all my family photo albums because I'll buy another cell phone.
Okay. Meech.
I don't have any family photos. My sister has them all, so I gotta take my phone.
There you go. Good. All right, Case. Domino's, Little Caesars, or Papa John's?
You know what? I'm gonna have to go with Little Caesars out there, for Mr. Illich, who whenever there was firework night, he'd leave us a stack of Little Caesars pizzas like you've never seen, and I'd bring 2 of them in my car on the way home, just crush them. So very grateful to Mr. Illich for Little Caesars.
See, I would agree with that, but it felt like I was eating cardboard, so I'm gonna go with Domino's.
Why? Because Domino's is like 2 times the amount of cardboard. I mean, it's like that. Not like that dough is so much better. Do you know what I mean?
Hey, it's the sausage. The sausage is better.
I agree with that. All right, beautiful. Case, are you a procrastinator or do you get things done early?
You know what? I get things done early now. Was a procrastinator back in the day.
You know what? After Hurricane Wilma came through South Florida, I stopped procrastinating because I didn't fill up my truck before it came. Then I was almost stranded. Another car was full of gas, and then I got the hell up out of there. So I'm just like Casey. I get stuff done early.
Dude, 2005, right?
Yep.
Dude, I was in
That
that.
was
I hunkered down in my house in Hurricane Wilma, Category 5, hunkered down, freaking, hurricane shutters on. It felt like a freight train coming in, coming out. And my two sons are just like pooping their pants, eating Cheerios, have no idea what's going on. I was like, we got a Hurricane 5. We got a Hurricane 5.
All right. Next one, Case. More annoying, beach sand in your drawers or popcorn stuck in your teeth?
Oh, you know what? I hate stuff in my teeth, and popcorn's one of the worst. So I'm gonna have to say popcorn in my teeth.
Dmitri.
Oh, I gotta agree with that because I like surf fishing. I don't mind the sand so much. You know, you can just hop in the shower, but that doggone the popcorn in the teeth. Oh my god! Especially when it gets wedged in there and it's like you don't have anything to pick it out, and you try and use your teeth, and you're out in public, and it's like, you want to not look like you belong in the zoo. It's like, God dang it. So I definitely agree with Casey with that.
Excellent. Okay, this is a tough one. In your eating primes, both of you guys, who wins the Skyline Chili eating contest between Sean, Casey, and Dimitri?
You know what, bro? I thought I was good until I met Dmitri, so I'm gonna have to say Dmitri wins.
I was gonna get at the Casey, but if we would have turned it to like White Castles,
okay.
then I'm picking me. But if we're talking about wings, picking Casey.
If you're talking about wings, I would dominate Dmitri and everyone else, and no doubt about it. Skyline Chili, probably right.
Casey does like the cartoon. He'll put the whole
pull it out
and come out. Yeah, like the cartoon.
Like Sylvester the cat.
Yeah. Amazing.
It's an art.
Eating cartilage and all.
Okay, a few more. Case, worst sound. Nails on a chalkboard, a fork scratching a plate, or a cavity being drilled.
Cavity. I just don't like cavities. I just don't like the dentist. I'm feeling ill right now thinking about going to the dentist, and I need to go soon.
All right, Dimitri.
Yeah, I've had a cavity filled. Bad noise.
Okay, 2 more. This one I'm excited about. You come out of retirement today. You are going to bat 3rd for the Reds for this final month of the season. What's your batting average at the end of the month? Honestly, Sean.
Do I have a couple weeks to warm up, or
whatever? You're ready.
Okay.
Sean Casey, now took like swings for like a couple.
I think I could throw 230, 235, maybe 240. What do you think, D? Any chance of me doing 240? 230?
I think we can both do it. I mean, we can both hit. It's just a matter of getting our timing, getting a little workout in and getting in baseball shape. And then, just get used to swinging. I don't know about my reaction time. I don't know if those quick twitch muscles, we gotta have to get the defibrillator out.
Yeah, right. But it'll balance out with the shift because you guys can go.
Well, I'd also, if I could answer that question after I had one at bat, it could be 120. It could be 120 after I see that pitching, like Demetrio said.
Okay, last question, and I'm excited about this one. It's a 2-part question. The 1998 Reds compete in a Royal Rumble. Who fights the dirtiest, and who wins?
The 98 Reds or the 99 Reds?
99. What do you want? 99? Want to do 9?
Yeah, let's go with the 99 Reds.
99
Wait,
Reds.
who? And what's the question?
Compete in a Royal Rumble. Who fights the dirtiest is part 1, and who wins is part 2.
Pete Harnish guy fights. No. Ron Vallone fights the dirtiest, and Mike Cameron wins it because he's freaking. He'd be high flying. Him or Pokey Reese wins it because they're the best athletes on the team.
What do you think, Demetrio?
See, I was gonna go with Stan Belinda since he's the dirt farmer.
Oh
He'd be
yeah.
the dirtiest.
Everybody's been intimidated by Greg Vaughn. Vaughn's not an answer to one of you guys?
Oh, that's what I was gonna get to for the.
Okay.
The winner was gonna be Greg Vaughn.
Oh, I like that.
I would give it to him because one, he'll just take charge and just intimidate guys, and then a lot of people will cancel themselves out.
Like who?
Let me see. Me and Casey will cancel each other out. You'll have Michael Tucker and Jeffrey Hammons cancel themselves out.
Brian Johnson and Eddie Thomasy cancel each other out.
Yeah.
Love it.
Oh,
All right,
man,
well, that's
hey.
it. You did them all.
Yeah, dude. Dimitri, this has been so great, bro. Just so great catching up with you, bro. Seeing you last weekend in Cincy and just seeing you, man. I'm glad you're doing well. Looks like things are going great out there coaching and great catching up, brother. Thanks so much for coming on.
No problem. I gotta send that Beanie Baby out to you too.
Yeah, please. I appreciate that. I had a Beanie Baby. I had a Beanie Baby like back in '99. Dimitri said, "Hey, did your kids have one?" I said, "No." He's like, "I'll send you one." He's gonna go get it. Yeah. It was it was like when Beanie Babies were big, like 20 years ago, and they had a Sean Casey Beanie Baby night.
And you don't have it?
I don't
you don't
have
your own Beanie Baby?
No, but I have my own rubber duck. I have my own figurine. I have 4 bobbleheads. But I want the beanie. There it is.
What?
There it is, right there. There it is. Yes. Oh my gosh,
There
it's
it
so
is.
great. There it is. That's the Beanie Baby. Thanks, D. I appreciate you. Where'd you get that? Did you have that from the days back when we played?
I had I had 5 of them. I gave one to a friend. Then I gave one to Tim Farmer. He's one of the campers from the Reds Fantasy Camp. I gave it to him for his son, and kept the other 3, and gave you the card for your daughter, and just gotta send that out to you.
That's awesome, bro, man. Appreciate it. You always had the biggest heart of one of the guys I played with, bro. Love your friendship. Love you, man. And let me know when you want me to be back on your podcast.
Oh, definitely. I'll be talking to Dennis today.
Okay, man. Tell Dennis I said
man. Awesome.
Okay, brother. Thanks, D. See you, buddy.
Thank you, guys. It was an absolute pleasure.
Awesome, brother. Thank you. Pleasure.
Oh, man. How do I case?
All right, Chinchy. We did it again, huh?
Dude, man, you talk about how close you are with him. Like, he seems like the kind of guy that you would want in your friend circle, just hanging out and being around. Like, so relaxed, but so funny and so cool. Awesome.
Dude,
and a hell of a baseball player. Hell of a baseball player for his generation.
Dude, hell of a baseball player. You know, right around 300, over 300 doubles, close to 200 homers, 826 OPS too. I mean, that the OPS number is big for me. You're over an 800 OPS. You're a way above average big league ball player for a career. Yeah. And dude, just one of the best guys. Just a great soul. And I'm just happy to see him doing well, man.
That's awesome. And you know, one other theme that's, now that we've done a bunch of these and I get to talk to a lot of your friends who you played with, that's really cool to me is seeing these guys are all coaching now, but they're not coaching like, oh, I'm just going to go, spend a couple hours with my kids. Like, we've had Todd Frazier, we've had Dmitri, guys like that who are like, no. There's a way we played in the big leagues, and they're giving these young children, which is important at that age. Wait a minute. Don't just look here. Don't just look here. We did this. We want you to enjoy yourselves. And we think there's a certain way to play the game. And it's great to see almost like the old school guys being the teachers now, like you and guys you played with and guys who played the game right when it was like at its best. I think the times you guys played in the 90s and the early 2000s was like, that was when everybody was clicking on the same cylinders. The hitters were great. The pitchers were great. And it's cool seeing you guys all be passionate about teaching the game to the next generation after you.
Well, that's the thing is I think we all feel a certain obligation to the new generation. I think like guys felt an obligation to us when we were coming up, and guys that helped us, the dads out there that helped us when we were younger too, and little league and stuff like that. But yeah, to hear Dmitri, Jack Wilson, Royce Clayton's out there too, Jerry Royster, they're all in the same conference out there in California. And, for those guys to be impacting kids and passing on the greatest game in the world, that's what we're supposed to be doing.
Love it. Yeah, dude. And again, keep hitting homers with your guest, man. Best guest
great,
booker in the
dude.
country. I keep saying it. He was
I love
awesome.
it,
I'm
dude.
so glad to
So
talk to
awesome,
him.
man.
Yeah.
So awesome, bro. Well, I love you, man. And we did it again, and I'll see you.
Wait a
See you
minute.
next week.
This was number 19. Do you know what next
No.
week is?
No, this isn't 19. This is no.
Yes. Danny Grace was 18. Cliff Floyd was 19. Oh no, wait.
No.
Maybe this isn't it.
No.
Oh, whatever.
No.
I'm gonna delete that out of here.
Edit.
All right, bro. I will see you next week then.
Well, all right, but keep this in. I just want to say to all the people out there that are listening to the mayor's office with Chinch and I every week, thank you so much. We see you tuning in, see you listening. Give us your feedback. You can find me on Twitter at the mayor's office, and I'm at the mayor's office MLB on Instagram. Any ideas, any guests you would like to see, we'll do our best to find them. We have a big Rolodex that we're going to keep rolling out some stud guests. So thanks again for everyone tuning in. NoFilter.net, YouTube, everything, Spotify, Apple. Come find us. Chinchy, I love you, brother. I will see you next week, my man. Okay, buddy. See ya.